I saw no reason to make everybody wait. Hey, everybody. It is another random Wednesday, and I'm here with Disco Dragon because I like that kind of look that we did last time we did this about a month ago. And today's just kind of a free for all. It's weird weather out here in Minnesota right now. It's like kind of really gray. There's no snow on the ground to speak of, but the wind chill is pretty strong. It's like 17 degrees outside. So it's kind of a good day to be indoors. And the reason why I'm kind of doing this, there's a lot of them, but one of them is because I don't have a Discord, and it's not for lack of offers. I've had some people ask me to, be part of Discord with them. But a big Discord really isn't, I don't think, the right fit for me. And so I'm trying to use these day streams a little bit as a way to just communicate with the BellTube community, check in with you guys, see what you're reading, and kind of have more of a one-on-one, almost like a For Whom the Bell Tolls, but with chat. So I don't really have a set agenda today. I do, speaking of For Whom the Bell Tolls, I have questions for you guys. I've got like 4 polls. So with this new software that I'm using, it allows me to generate polls, and we can play around with that a little bit, have a little bit of fun. I will look at some comments. Actually, that's all I'm going to read today is look at comments, talk a little bit about the books that I'm reading. My guess is it'll probably be somewhere in between. Last time, lots of people showed up. They also might have just kind of a curiosity factor last time. And maybe we've blown past that curiosity factor. God knows my channel subscription count. We could talk about that if people have questions too. But anyway, last time I was like 3 hours behind in the chat. So I think before we get too far behind in chat like I did last time, let me take a drink here. Hang on. We've got, hey, all right, Mike's book reviews. Going to get in here now. See exactly before you get 3 hours behind in comments. Have a great week, amigo. Thank you, Mike. Awesome dude. Mike's the greatest. It's just Mike's the greatest, except for the fact that he adds to my TBR like nobody's business. And I will say what I've been reading lately is not Mike recommended. These are not books that, I've come across on Mike's channel, which is extraordinarily rare. So yeah, anyway, where are we here? We've got Christian's hobby blog. Yeah, I'm early to one of these. Hello. Hey, and the other cool part about doing these, during the daytime is that I know some of you guys are just listening at work, and that's awesome. Maybe I can give you a little bit of something to distract you from the mundane. Also, we've got lots of people across the pond, and it's already past work hours there. So if you are bored, you can come hang out with me on a Wednesday. Delicio, one of our patrons. What's up, Brian? Won't be able to stay for most of the chat, but we'll be watching on Team Replay later. Loved your last stream last month. Awesome. Thank you. By the way, I don't really talk about this in the videos all that often, and I need to start making some notes to do that. But yeah, there is a Patreon if you want to support the channel in a meaningful way. I'll tell you a little bit about some life stuff as we get into it. But Patreon's, pretty cheap. It's less than a couple of bucks for the basic access stuff to it. So if you're interested, check it out. It's in the video description. Along with, I should say, so you guys have been seeing this a lot. I always hold up my That's a Fact mug. I don't think I've ever worn my One for the Road baseball jersey on stream before. So I wear it all the time around the house, but I don't think I've ever worn it before. So yeah, cool. Zayla Green says, hello. Yeah, major blizzard here for me too. Yeah, I think like where Tori Tacken lives, they're getting a ton of snow today. So maybe she'll pop into the chat if she's hanging out at home. Contemplative Reader says, hello, it's a blizzard here as predicted. So tuning in. Awesome. Welcome. Hey, Jerome. Nice to see you. Hello, everybody. And I sound like Mr. Roboto. Is there like a problem with the audio? Okay. So it sounds like there's something with the audio. All right. Shit sandwich. All right. Hang on a minute here. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. How about now? Can you hear me okay now? Otherwise, we can try Is that any better? Do I still sound like Robo Brian? Still choppy. Okay, let's try to figure this out together, shall we? Um, there's a couple of things that I can do here. One, I don't think it's the mic cord. Sounds like an out of tune auto tune. Weird. Give me a minute here. Let me just make sure that there's not something goofed up. Oh, how about now? Okay, cool. All right, so tell me if that sounds any better. Is this better? Doug is saying nope. Is it still making kind of that Mr. Roboto sound? Wait, now it's saying good. You guys are driving me crazy. Doug says it's good. Doug says it's bad. Marianne says it's good. Sounds great now. Thank you. Okay, cool. So guess what, folks? It turns out that if you're going to do a live stream and you set it up literally 1 minute before you go live, sometimes you need to check settings and to make sure that you're actually using your microphone, because what you were hearing earlier was coming off the audio input from my camera. So pretty technically, amazing here. Let me go back to the chat. Samwise, hey, how are you? And here we go. Hobby Vomit, my favorite name. Hi, all. Hi, Marianne. We're going to talk about one of your favorite books today. Capricious Fox says, am I early enough for Brian not to be 30 minutes behind in the chat? Yeah, I think you are. Thank you so much. It is available in the merch store. Thatcher's here. What's up? Another awesome patron. Okay, so now I'm going through when we went through the audio problems. Okay. Good. Sounds good now. Yes, here. Lista says it's not better. Okay, cool. All right, we're all good there. Dude, I swear to God, you put more song mind worms in my head than anybody. Mike puts out he'll do an Instagram stuff and he'll just randomly throw out some 70s or 80s tune and it lands in my head. Now, I do have a remedy for this. I think when Matt on Book was on, For Whom the Bell Tolls, I shared with him my remedy for earworms, and that is do complex division or any type of math problem in your head. And that generally, it's weird. It works in the same area of your brain, supposedly, as when you get a song stuck in your head. So thanks to Mike for Mike's book reviews, I do quite a bit of long division in my head. I bet he had no idea. And as a finance guy, I bet you that makes him happy. Yes. Caleb, hey Brian, hope your day is going well. Thanks so much. I hope your day is going well. There goes the internet again. Oh my God. So what the hell? This doesn't look like a mic problem. It looks like internet bandwidth problem. Audio problems back. Shit sandwich. Well, I know it's not my settings, and it looks like I'm getting full signal from my Wi-Fi. It's at 100%. So I don't really know what the heck is going on here. What a huge bummer. Give me 1 minute here. Check. Echo. How about that? Is that any better? There's a setting in EV Mux that I just turned off. How about now? This is riveting television, isn't it? Yeah, so I don't know. There was an echo like checkbox in EV Mux. I got to tell you guys, I'm so on the fence if I'm keeping EV Mux or not, because there's so many cool things that it can do. I'm just waiting for the stream to get going a little bit more and for all these technical problems to go away, because I did, like I said, I was talking earlier, I came up with some pretty fun poll questions for the chat today that I want to play around with, that I don't know that you can do that simply in StreamYard. But I've had just as many technical problems with EV Mux as I've had successes, and their customer support is awful. So yeah, it was a video bandwidth problem. I'm reading Avan Tour's comment, but it's really strange because I have like a killer signal right now. So it's, I don't know. I think what goes on is there's a connection issue between EV Mux, which is the streaming software that I use, and YouTube. To me, I think that's what is happening here, but definitely keep me posted in the chat if this does continue to happen, because I don't want to make this a shit experience for you guys. And if I have to, what I can do is I can end the broadcast, restart the broadcast, and that should clear up any problems. If it becomes kind of regular, let me know, and I will do that. I know how to do that. We've had to do that before. Mr. Minta and my brother from the South stopped by on a day off to say, love you, brother. Back at you for sure. And, okay, yeah, now it's good again. Yeah, you're right, Melissa. It just waits for me to get going and then it messes up. Doug says I saw frame drop several times. Yeah, I don't know. So, hey, Theo. Rekindle Reader says, hey, buddy, just checking in while I'm working. That's kind of why I'm doing this, is just sort of give people a little bit of a work break today. And like I said, for the people across the pond, if you don't have anything good on TV on a Wednesday night, then you can do this. So I just want to kind of let this, kind of mellow out for a second in terms of the stream and the bandwidth and all that stuff. And just to make sure that before I do any of these polls, that we're still not running into bandwidth problems. Like I said, that I think is mostly a connection issue between the streaming software and YouTube. I can tell you a little bit about what I am currently reading and what I just finished reading. In the meantime, I finished this a couple of days ago, Sunlit Lands, Josiah Bancroft, and I have to thank Marianne, who's in the chat, for sending me not only this book, she sent me the whole series, which is just like so kind and generous. And, I don't even know what to say to that when somebody sends you an entire series, because I've said this a bunch of times before that I never really thought I would do a book haul video, mostly because I don't buy books ahead of time when I'm, before I'm going to read them. That was before I became a booktuber and got FOMO. The other part is that I didn't really think that as a small channel, I'd get any books in the mail. So I got the post office box. I have the post office box anyway for my day job and for my business that I own. So it wasn't like I had to go out and get a whole new post office box. I just put that address in the video descriptions, and sure enough, started getting some books. And I have to say, this is a huge recommend for me. I'm going to do this on the monthly recap at some point, early April. And I might even do a dedicated review for this, because I don't know why I waited as long as I did to read this book. It's awesome. This is like an adventure story that I was telling Tori Tekken the other day that I don't really have any great ambitions to write a book. But if I did write a book, it would be something like this. The imagination in this is just kick ass. And what's really cool about this is that the function problems would make for some good. What's really cool about this for me is that it's almost like a ton and tons of short stories woven together into one novel, even though they're not. They're all just chapters, and the chapters are relatively short. And each little part of the adventure is its own little episode enclosed within, it could be anywhere from one chapter to maybe 4 chapters. And then he moves on to the next thing. And it involves, cast that comes and goes pretty regularly. We get people that are there at the beginning and then they're gone for a while. And then they come back and then they're gone. And it's kind of a rotation of cast. So there's not tons of people to follow all at once. It's usually our main character, Thomas Senlin, and usually like one other person, and that's it. And then the person goes away and there's somebody else. And then another. And it reminded me a little bit of Book of the New Sun, because that happens quite a bit in that too, where Severian's running around and he's, got his companion, and then that person goes off to do something else and they're replaced and that person comes back. Kind of a similar deal with this, but this is way easier to follow. It's not intentionally written, obscurely, but I had a blast with this, and I'm absolutely going to be reading the next book next month. This vaulted its way up to me getting through the series. I don't want to forget what I know so far, and that is going to be a big deal with me in the series moving forward. So anyway, Marianne, you were totally right. Sunlit Lands, there's a read-along going on right now very slowly in Alan's Discord. I think Anita's running it. And I thought I was reading the book really slow because I didn't even start this thing until, I don't know, maybe last week. And I finished it, I think, before everybody, which is a testament to how much I like this book and how fast it reads. The chapters are super short. If you're somebody like me that loves short chapters, because you kind of go, all right, I got time to do one more chapter. I got time to do one more chapter. And you want to know what's going on with the main character, it's a difficult book to put down. I basically read this all last weekend. So big recommend on Josiah Bancroft's Sunlit Lands. So let me look at some chat here and we'll talk about what I'm reading now. Sam Sargent says, just finished work. Great timing. Awesome. You know me well, Marianne, and I'm glad you are happy dancing. And again, let me know if the sound or the video clicks out. Hey, Stepan, how are you? Good to see you back in the chat. Dub H. Moore says, second best show in the history of the universe. Thanks. I mean, I'm going to take that one all day long. We know who has the best show in the history of the universe. That has been undisputed now for several years. Capricious Fox says, I just got a small book haul with books I'm about to read. Jack Vance's Dying Earth series, Baroness Orky's The Scarlet Pimpernel, and Laura Dunsery's The Gods of Galena and Time and Gods. Okay. That's strange. I probably should read these before I throw them on screen just to make sure that I can see my monitor all the way. Because if you guys haven't, like on the backstage stuff, I show it like on Patreon, and sometimes I'll throw it up on Instagram. I'll show how my stuff is set up, and if you'll notice, I'm always sort of looking this way, right? I'm not looking dead into the camera, because the whole idea for me doing live streams in the first place was to do For Whom the Bell Tolls. And I wanted to be able to, at least since we're not in person, come across like I'm looking at the person in the other bubble that I'm talking to. And that's why the monitor that I'm actually watching is quite a large monitor. And it looks like I'm looking off to the side, like if there's a guest here. If I want to look straight at the camera, I can certainly do that. But I don't know, it's easier to see kind of what's going on in chat, and it's easier to see what I am reading aloud as well. So where are we here? Melissa says, enjoyed your top 5 urban fantasy series videos. Any more top videos in the works? Melissa, God bless you. I wish more people watched the top 5 urban fantasy stuff. It's weird timing. I think about once a month I get a little down on YouTube, and I think the remedy for me for that is to come do these live streams and hang out with the community, the people that are just very, very supportive of what I'm trying to do here. The top urban fantasies, I get it that it's a niche within fantasy. I thought urban fantasy was probably a bigger niche than it is, at least. I thought there'd be more people on YouTube actively looking for it. I suspect the video is going to be a bit of an evergreen video that people will look up Dresden Files and they'll find it, or they'll look up Sandman Slim or Iron Druid and they'll find it, or they'll hear the term urban fantasy and it'll pop up. But in terms of like video performance and how it did compared to more recent videos over the last couple of months, I mean, it was just, it flopped. And it was discouraging to me only insofar as that I spent days putting together the editing for it. And it's not like any video on YouTube is ever going to like go viral, for me is a booktuber, but to just see it get like half the views as a normal video after you put the time into editing it can be a bit discouraging. So if you're somebody out there that's got a YouTube channel, maybe you're starting off or whatever, just know that it happens to everybody. And yeah, it doesn't feel good when you put the time into editing it. And like, I've done some videos that I literally do no editing because I ran out of time or I was so busy with my other business, which I'm less busy with right now because Amazon sucks and we can talk about them if anybody wants to. But when you put in very little effort into the editing and you just talk into the camera and you get 2 or 3 times the amount of views doing that, it's a head scratcher because a lot of the times we find that people like, real quick, snappy changes every 2 or 3 seconds. Like if you watch a TV show, there's a camera angle change literally every 2 or 3 seconds. I mean, count it out. Go watch. Like I happen to watch the show Survivor. I like that show. And I was watching it the other night, last week, Wednesday, and I counted like there's no more than 2 or 3 seconds between each camera shot before there's a new angle. And it keeps people's attention better. And I try to learn a little bit about that from that to do YouTube to capture not only the core audience that we have here, but for other people that tune in and want a little bit of more visual stimulus. And I don't think by any stretch of the imagination that I'm that good at editing. I think I'm more of an ideas guy, maybe more so than an execution person when it comes to editing. And because like, I'll give you a great example. I watch Sylvia's, channel all the time, Library Unbounded, and her editing skills dwarf mine. She's just fantastic. And it feels like a story is unfolding as you watch her videos. And I think her editing makes more sense than a lot of the editing that I do, but it doesn't detract from kind of that gut punch that you feel. I don't know why I'm holding my chest on my one for the road shirt. See, I'm always going to throw that stuff at you guys. But I don't know why it feels kind of like a gut punch when you do that editing stuff. And it's just very unnoticed. Nobody says a word about it. And you're going, what the hell did I just put 15 or 20 hours into editing a video for? Now, John Minton has, been very as brotherly as he can, trying to tell me, stop doing so much work on BookTube. You're putting too much time into it. You're going to burn out. He's not totally wrong. It's just that my personality is such that I want things to look and be a certain way as if I was the person watching it. And I generally, with the exception of Mike, and Philip, really, I think Jimmy Nuts too, and probably Alan, but with those guys, I can just watch them talk and I don't need a lot of editing because they are entertaining personalities. And I don't know that I fall into that realm. So I think that that's why I try to do some editing to give people a bit of a visual break from looking at this mug. I see tons of comments I'm going to watch. I'm going to see what these are. Where are we here? Sam says, I just picked up Sandman Slim. Awesome. You got to let me know what you think about that. I think actually it's going to be interesting at some point. I know Mike owns Sandman Slim. At some point he's going to get to it. He might even like it better than Alex Ferris. Cause I mean, Mike's that kind of guy and he likes horror elements and there's way more of that in Sandman Slim than there's in Alex Ferris. But thank you, Marianne. I appreciate that very much. Capricious Fox says, I like that video. Thank you. Tom Orange is here. Hey, everyone. Mike says, I have videos that will do well. I have videos I think will do well that gets 3K views. Then one that's a throwaway gets 50K. YouTube is where, yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's really challenging to figure, and you can't figure out what the algorithm wants. You can just make your product that you want to put out there and do it and see what happens. But look, Mike cares about his videos. If he didn't, he wouldn't make 3 a week, right? I mean, he wants them to be good. And so, and you can tell when you watch certain booktubers about the topics that they're passionate about, right? And it's just this kind of backwards thing that I've noticed that the things that we get passionate about don't usually resonate, as well as the things that we just sort of put out there as standard booktube fare. And for somebody like me that is really creative and wants to do fun things, it's almost like a slap down from the algorithm saying, don't you get too creative, put out stuff that everybody else puts out, or we're just not going to give you the reach. And that sucks. I mean, I will tell you that like my two worst performing videos ever on the channel are my two Funky Mirage's Disco Holiday Special. I had more fun doing those, honestly, than almost anything that I've ever done on this channel, and they're the worst two performing videos. So it's challenging, right? I don't want to make videos that I feel like I've just been there, done it. That's why you don't see weekly videos for me. It's like you guys already have Mike doing it, you got John doing it. Philip does it like every week and a half, or maybe every other week he'll do something like that. But it's just I don't know. I don't know. I think that there's other channels for that stuff. So I don't know that I'm the right guy to do that. Hobby Vomit, I'm almost always going to put up a Hobby Vomit comment because I love the name. I do know editing mostly because I'm new to YouTube, really because I'm lazy. Don't tell anybody. Sorry, Hobby Vomit. You are, sussed out here. Mike says, that said, I never do more than 2 hours editing max. Well, Mike and I have a different situation. Mike has full-time day job. He's got 2 kids. He's got a wife. He does 3 videos a week. I do 1 video a week. So, I mean, it makes sense that, he's on that calendar. Alex Ferris one is pretty forgettable. Yeah, it's interesting because when I was doing that video and I was talking about Alex Ferris, and it's been a minute since I've read the first few books because I sort of read them as they came out. And yeah, it absolutely occurred to me that Alex Ferris starts slow. It really does. And it's just one of those that if you're not into it by book 3, you're probably not going to be into it by the end of book 3. Good news is they're short books, like I talk about in the video. And, I don't know. Part of it too is just the timing of what you read just prior to it. We're going to talk about that here in a minute when we get to what I am reading. Your effort doesn't go unnoticed, I promise. Thank you, Theo. You know what? And there's another guy that does just killer editing, and he gets it. Like, Theo does stuff that he's not editing like a movie, but he's keeping visual attraction through a series of zooms and pop-ups and sound effects, and it works in creating the type of video that he does. I'm a really big fan of Rekindle Reader because, for one, I just like what he talks about, and I'm simpatico with Theo. I just see a lot of myself in the guy, but yeah, he's good at it for sure. Where are we here? Here we go. Again, we're talking Theo. I spend time editing as well. It doesn't always feel worthwhile. I did a throwaway video filming in my car that got 10,000 views because I mentioned Kindle. YouTube is weird indeed. Yeah. And that's the other thing too, is that, little behind the curtain stuff. When we upload videos, the AI at YouTube dissects the whole thing, right? And it transcribes every word we're saying. And depending on the word that you say, you may wind up in a search index even if it's totally irrelevant to the video itself, right? So, I mean, if I start talking about Kindles in a video coming up, there's a chance that, it shows up somewhere as that search crawler finds it. Good morning, Derry. It's so funny. When I was eating my breakfast this morning, I asked what time it was in New Zealand because I was like, I wonder if I'm going to get some of my New Zealand and Australia friends here. Mike, doing DCC, yeah, in April, so you'll forgive me for, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I get it with Alex Ferris. I read Alex Ferris as I was reading Dresden Files, and I was so into Dresden Files at the time, and I'd already completed Sandman Slim, I think, at least to the current where it was, and it wasn't hitting for me as hard as either one of those. But after we get through about book 3 and we see kind of where things are unfolding, and we get into that mixed morality that I was talking about in that video, then it becomes quite a bit more interesting. Because, I mean, this is no big spoiler, but when the light mages and the dark mages all hate Alex Ferris, it becomes, far more interesting. I'm going to leave it at that. Where are we here? Doug, thank you so much. I appreciate that compliment. Simpatico, you're right. You know what? That's a good word. I like that. You know what? Let's do a poll. I want to see if these polls work. We don't have a ton of people in the chat today, but let's just do one. I've got 4 of them lined up today, and I'm kind of curious where you guys land in self-evaluation. If you're going to put yourself in a Hogwarts house, I want to see with who we have here right now, where you find yourself, what house you think you would probably be sorted in. So what we do here is, if you are seeing yourself as I'm going to try to get this right. If you see yourself as a Ravenclaw, into the chat, put #R. If you see yourself as a Gryffindor, #G. If you see yourself as a Slytherin, #S. And if you see yourself as a Hufflepuff, #H. I want to see if this actually works. I have absolutely no idea if it will. So far, is it working? I don't know. Yes, it is working. This is kind of a cool little deal. And we're going to figure out, we'll let this run for a minute, and we'll kind of see where everybody's at. Can I post a comment? I think I need to post a comment too. I think it'll let me do that. There we go. Had to even us out a little bit. Okay, where are we here? Look at all these. See, I love these. You guys also let me know in the chat if you like these kinds of polls, because I think I'm going to try to incorporate some of these live chat polls into For Whom the Bell Tolls as well, because they're kind of fun to do. And I like the interactiveness that we can do when we have this kind of a thing. Okay, so what do we got here? We got all these people. I'm just really curious about the community. Yeah, I mean, of course, Tom's a Gryffindor. Duh. I mean, that's an easy one. Marianne, Hufflepuff, Hobby Vomit, Ravenclaw, Sam Sarger, Ravenclaw, Melissa. See, this does not surprise me that we get. Look at the pie chart, by the way. It's half you guys are Ravenclaws. Yeah, Thatcher Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, Jerome Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw. Thank you, Theo. You are holding up the Slytherin house with me. Doug, same back to you. Absolutely. Yeah, Mike is definitely Gryffindor. I would have put Mike in Gryffindor all the way for sure. And that was another thing that I was going to do, is I had a video idea a while ago. I still might do it, where, you know, you've seen these big collab videos that come out, and, you know, it's all these different booktubers, you know, suggesting a book or this and that. And I was thinking about me doing a sorting hat video where I sort, I don't know, 30 booktubers into where I believe they are, having no knowledge other than the fact that, you know, Mike just said Gryffindor, but that's where I would have put him anyway. But, and obviously Philip is 1000% Ravenclaw. I mean, if he's probably the prefect of Ravenclaw, soon to be, you know, headmaster of Ravenclaw. But I thought it would be fun to film it first and then solicit everybody's actual answer and put them, you know, in sequence as I do the sorting and see if I was right or not. But we'll see. That seems like a lot of work to do for a video that I don't know if there's going to be much interest in. Caleb says, I am pretty much quintessential Hufflepuff and my wife is quintessential Slytherin. Yeah, that's good. Why not? Why not? Yeah, this is cool. I like this. We'll leave the poll open here for a minute in case. Yeah, I know. Where is Tori? It's blizzarding there. She should be in there. Absolutely. Yeah, Melissa, I agree. It is kind of fun doing the pie charts. And I've got more of them too. So where are we here? Doug says what he really is Dark Phoenix, but that's in Rokugan. I don't know that one. Yeah, that does sound fun. Yeah, so looks like right now we have Ravenclaw in the lead, followed by Hufflepuff, then Slytherin, then Gryffindor. This doesn't really surprise me that much. You know, when we talk about BookTube, clearly Ravenclaw's love for reading in academia, I think would lean to getting more people into, you know, that house, I think, than anything else. Hufflepuff is kind of cool too, because, you know, it's really weird. I think Hufflepuff is sort of like, I don't know, with the exception of like Cedric Diggory, they don't really give a whole lot of, you know, time to Hufflepuff in any of the movies, at least. And it's been so long since I read the book, I don't remember if there's any big, characters out of that either. But they talk about loyalty and hard work, which are great things, but they don't really sound as sexy as an academic reader that, really wants all the wisdom in the world, or the cunning, ambitious Slytherin, or the brave and fierce Gryffindor. It's like hardworking just doesn't sound like, I don't know. I mean, yes, it's a great trait. Yes, I appreciate everybody who's hardworking, but I would have thought that they had to come up with something a little bit more, I don't know, exciting to be, I don't know. That's my rant. Hufflepuff are just do that. I mean, call them, the stoners. That'd have been fine. They don't take shop class. Why not? Hey, it's interesting. We have, like, in my family, I'm going to say we know for sure I'm Slytherin. My sister's 100% Hufflepuff, as is my mom. My dad's for sure a Gryffindor. I mean, there's no doubt about it. No Ravenclaws in the Bell household. That's for sure. Yeah, Hufflepuff are loyal, and that is a great quality, but it's loyal to somebody else, right? It's not for them. I don't know. I guess it's they're givers maybe. So maybe that could be a better way of describing Hufflepuff, is they're the people that are the most giving. To me, that sounds like something worthy of being in a particular house. I like that. All right. So maybe I'll write some fan fiction, right? This YouTube channel goes to shit, I can write Harry Potter fan fiction. Why not? All right, so we've got that poll up there. We'll do another one here in a minute. I'll take that one down if I know how to do it. Yes, I do. Like I said, I mean, this EV Mux deal is like so weird because I like being able to do these cool widgets and stuff like this, but the audio and streaming issues we had earlier are just kind of like meh. I don't know. And Mike says that the wife thinks she was a Ravenclaw, but I tell her she has red hair. They all go to Griffin. I mean, it's not totally wrong. I mean, yeah, I mean, not totally wrong there. Marianne says it is the unspoken rule. I mean, I don't know. So I don't know what you guys are reading right now. I am reading this big sucker. This is Ships of Meriar. This is the second book in Wars, Light, and Shadow. Jenny Wirtz doing this with John and Chris Navo and Abel Montero and Sylvia from Library Unbounded and Leslie from the Nerdy Narrative. And who else is on that one? That might be it. I'm probably forgetting somebody. If I am so sorry. My brain is like mush lately. Amazon's overlords have melted my brain in the last couple of weeks. Anyway, this is an interesting book to me. Early on, I am 150 pages into this right now, and how we're doing this is about a 900-page book. We're reading the first 500 pages because it's really two books. I take it back. It's actually one book, but in Europe, the publishers split this into two books, and because we have some European people on the read-along, we're just doing it that way. Plus, honestly, reading a 900-page Jenny Wirtz book, it would basically take up more of the month than I think I can give to any book. So it makes sense. There's two parts of this. Part one goes to about page 511. So I'm like 30%-ish through this book. And it's interesting because the first book, Curse and the Mistwraith, for me started off kind of at a pace, and then it really kind of slowed down a little bit, and then it really ramps up more towards the end. The shape of this book so far has been quite opposite. It starts off, at least for me, much slower, and only until about maybe page 130, I think, is the pace picking up a little bit. Now, what I was mentioning earlier about the lens in which we read a book has a lot to do with what we just read beforehand. So all of that, and by the way, I am quite enjoying the book. It's a good book, but I just read this one before it, right? And this is non-stop. Something is going on in every single chapter, and it is relentlessly paced. So when you go from something like this to something that is far more intentionally drawn out, yeah, it feels different. So my reading pace on Ships of Meriar, I'm only doing like 50 pages a day. And I think on this weekend, I'll probably do 100 pages a day and wrap it up by Sunday or Monday. But I don't know. You guys, I don't know. I don't know. I'm so crazy. On February 28th, I was in a chat, and it might have been on Andy Witham's channel or Tori's channel. I don't know. They're talking about the Keymark readathon, and I've been in the 2 prior Keymark readathons, and the team that I was on both times won. And I said, I'm not doing this again. I just have too much going on in my personal life, too much going on in business life, too much going on in family life, whatever. And I got FOMO'd, literally. I FOMO'd myself at the 11th hour on February 28th because the deadline was to be, that was the last day you could enter. And I decided to do it. So I have to get the 5 books in by the end of the month. I've already got 2 in. I'm going to get a 3rd one in tomorrow, which, by the way, is the Primal Hunter number 3. I'm doing it on audio. It's okay. I doubt anything in this chat other than Doug even knows the book that I'm talking about. If Andrew's here or watches later, he'll know what this book is. It's okay. It's not really doing it for me that much, but there's such great praise for the Primal Hunter as the series goes. I'm going to continue because I really did like book 1. Book 2, I thought should have just been part of book 1 and had been a huge book. Book 3's just, I don't know, it's just okay. But again, it's sort of through the lens in what we just read before, because I was listening to Dungeon Crawler Carl 7. Right now, you guys know this is my favorite series in all of Lit RPG, but I put it on hold because of this readathon, because I had started that book in February, so it doesn't count for the readathon. So I had to start something else. I am only 20% of Dungeon Crawler Carl 7 right now, while I'm getting through the Primal Hunter 3. But like I said, by tomorrow that should finish up, and I'll head back to the inevitable ruin, which I'm loving. I mean, for me, Dungeon Crawler Carl is about as good as it gets. And I sort of put off reading it a little bit, and I had mentioned this in another video, or maybe it was on a live stream, that I think a lot of us read literature for escape. That one in particular, I want to read when I'm in a good mood. And I've not been in the best mood over the last few weeks. Just honestly, when you've got folks that are getting a little bit older and they run into health issues, it can be really, really challenging, particularly when they live half a country away. The YouTube stuff I've had a blast with, but it grows in fits and spurts. And, I'll go a week and maybe net gain 3 subscribers. It's just very odd considering that I'm pretty vocal, in the community. So a lot of that had kind of been getting me down a little bit. And so I had put off Dungeon Crawler Carl 7 just because I want to be in a really good mood when I read a book. And this is all on top of Amazon pulling some unbelievable garbage with my BELLFLASK product and dropping our sales to about a quarter of what they were a year ago this time. And there's literally nothing I can do about it other than to just sort of wait it out. So a lot has been on my mind that way. I had put DCC 7 off till I'm kind of more in better spirits, and that's slowly starting to happen. The other thing that I decided to do is last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday of this week, I took off work completely. I generally work 7 days a week, which is insane. You will burn yourself out. I am horrible at listening to my own One for the Roads available in the merch store. I will always throw merch pitches at you guys. But I've just been burned out, and I decided I was going to take 4 days off and do nothing. And my very active brain has a really hard time settling down. And it took until about Monday or maybe even yesterday before some creative ideas, started to, find their way back into my mind, and a little bit more enthusiasm instead of the constant burnout. Because I mean, ask anybody who's primarily dependent on Amazon as a seller for your livelihood, and it can be just incredibly daunting and very frustrating. So anyway, you're not here for that stuff. I'm so back behind in comments. Let's go back here. Hang on. Let's go back. Capricious Fox says, "Oh, I am looking forward to read Janny's Sorcery Legacy soon. Someday I'll get to her big series." Yeah, not going anywhere. They're good. Contemplative Reader says 900 pages of Janny is a serious workout for the brain. It really is. And, it's not a book you can really skim through. I mean, you can skim, you can do whatever you want, right? I mean, if you want to skim through it, skim through it. There's no reading police. Janny is not coming to your house to stand over you and making sure you're reading every single word. But honestly, with stuff like that, or Book of the New Sun, or Malazan, if you're not digesting every word, just go pick another book up, because you're missing the art in the literature, right? Literature can be just a fun story to read, or it cannot legitimately be artwork. And in that particular case, it's art. And if you're just skimming art, let's go read something else for a while. That's my thought. Where are we here? So Melissa asks, I'm trying to decide between the Night Tiger, the Swifts, or One Piece. Any suggestions? Haven't read the first two. I've only seen the live action show of One Piece, and I've read, I don't know, maybe the first 30 pages of the One Piece East Blue Saga. That's it. I haven't had time. So where are we here? Tori is here. Hey, Tori. I don't know if you're getting snow today. We're not, but we're on you're like, I think, right in the zone of that. And by the way, yes, Tori, we did take a poll earlier, and let's see if I can show that poll again. Tori, look at this. We have some Slytherins in the house. If you want to add to that, Tori, just put in #S, and you can make that little green thing go up a little bit more. Oh my God, I'm 22 comments behind. Holy shit. All right. Some of these are you guys talking to each other, which is really good. I love that. Marianne says she's making her way through Autumn War still. I really love that book a lot. Long Prayers Quartet is so terrific. Yes, StoryTube. Hello, guys. Dropped in at the right time. Sendless is outrageously good. Carlos, awesome to see you, my man. This, again, I mean, if you're not subscribed to StoryTube, do it. They're awesome. They have really good content, and just, one of the things I like most about this channel is that they're creative. They do shit that's outside the box, and to me, that's gold. I love it. I love it. I love it. Where are we here? Okay. Tori says, I'm reading The Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. It's a mess. I'm aggressively underwhelmed. I don't even know what that is. I don't. I mean, I know that that's the Hunger Games author, I think. But yeah, Dog, soft DNF Primal Hunter after Volume 2 did. Yeah, I mean, it's just okay. I don't know. I'm not totally understanding the giant love for it yet, but it does have a huge fan base. Jerome will try DCC one day. I think you might like it. I mean, not every book's going to be for everybody, but there is a reason that everybody is jumping on the DCC bandwagon, and that they're, for the most part, loving it, right? I mean, I think any opinion is valid, right? So, Mike's in the chat. We can talk about him for a second. If he reads this book, which he said he's going to in April, and he doesn't like it, he should be and I know he's not afraid of BookTube. They'll go on and say what he didn't like about it, and that's great. This is a melting pot of opinions, and we don't need to all be, what's the word I used before? Simpatico? Yeah, we don't need to all be of the same mind on every book. So I personally love it. I'm encouraged to see that other much larger booktubers are, spreading the word about it. If I had the reach to do that the way that they did, or they do, that would be terrific. But, I don't. Anyway, all right, where are we here? Where are we? Dog says, currently reading Hawk and Fisher, Simon Green, the first book in the eponymous series. That's not how you pronounce this. Eponymous series is how you pronounce that. Yes. Health stuff, mid-40s gets 1 star, would not recommend. Well, Mike, I got bad news. I got bad news. If you're doing 1 star in the 40s, and that's another thing. So, I mean, this is where you get unfiltered Brian, by the way. I don't do this on Illuminati. I don't do this on For Whom the Bell Tolls. I certainly don't do it on the videos. But if you have not guessed by now, I'm a competitive person by nature. Not like I want to outdo somebody, not like that, but just like I want to be in the race, right? I want to be part of something and excel at something. That's what I mean by competitive. And I noticed the other day, well, maybe it was a month or two ago, that there's nobody that I can point to in the science fiction and fantasy booktube space that's my age that has over 50,000 subscribers. And that was just like kind of a strange revelation to me that, wow, holy cow. I mean, Philip is really close, right? I mean, Philip is just right under there and he'll hit that for sure. John will probably too, because his channel's experienced just fantastic growth and he's got a great channel. But for the most part, you're not seeing people in my age bracket that are just rocking big channels. And it's driven me to kind of think about how I want to approach YouTube. And I talked about this last month a little bit, that I am absolutely considering starting a second channel that has nothing to do with books, because I want to take what I've learned from this and maybe go into something that has a bit of a bigger reach, that I maybe not be so ceiling capped with the age stuff. Now, I could be dead wrong. It could just be sheer happenstance that for the most part, the bigger booktubers are all under 50. But if it's not, there's probably other avenues that I can do with this. And why do I say that? Well, for one, as I've mentioned, Amazon, my primary income source. It's just a nightmare, you guys. I mean, it is. If you try to do e-commerce without Amazon, when you're essentially a one-man band, good luck. I've done businesses my entire life, and e-commerce just on your own website, you can forget it. The truth is, you'll spend more money advertising on Google just to get people to your site. And unless you just have the bomb of all, testimonials, celebrities out there pitching your stuff, people will see what you're doing and they will go to Amazon and find something similar because they're comfortable with Amazon. They know they can buy it, get it that afternoon, and send it back tomorrow morning if they feel like it. So they've dominated the landscape there. And so what I've been trying to do is figure out, are there ways in which I can take what I've learned off of YouTube and bring in some supplemental income outside of Amazon, just as kind of a backup plan. So I don't know. I'm thinking about doing that. I mentioned that last month. We could talk more about that. I don't know. I'm all over the place. Dairy, I haven't. I'm at 20% in because I agreed to do the readathon. I know. I'm crazy. See, past 50 years health, can't afford, right? Yeah. While you're eating Peeps. So here's the thing. I said this last month and it's totally true still. I started in Thanksgiving. I stopped eating any processed foods or anything with added sugar. And my goal was to lose 17 pounds and I'm at 16 right now. So I literally have 1 pound left to go. And then I'm going to slowly incorporate basic stuff. Like if I want to have a Sprite, I can have a Sprite again, right? I'm not going to go completely bonkers, but just less of a strict thing. I don't know where we are here. I've lost track. I'm 22 comments behind, but you guys are talking to Keezy. Huna, this is new. Hi, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad Tori is there. Yes, Slytherins are in the house, always. I've worn that Slytherin jersey that I have once, which is good. Aaron, how are you? Another awesome patron. Which is, by the way, in the description if you want to check it out. Tori says, Books of Babel is one of my husband's favorite series. Now, after he's binged it last year and he doesn't binge anything, I'm starting book 3 soon. Yeah, it's really great. I mean, especially if you are mired in big epics, right? So I started this, I mean, you guys, maybe this is why I get burned out, right? January 2024, I do the DNF challenge and I read all these books that 7 other booktubers hated. This year, January, I started an every other month reading exercise where I'm doing 1 month is Wars, Light, and Shadow. The following month is Malazan, and back and forth until both series are done. So yeah, when you're mired in big epics like that, Books of Babel, perfect for it. Yeah, absolutely. I got another poll I want to do here in a minute too. Where are we? Okay, don't stretch yourself to too many things. Right? I don't know. And like I said, the whole, yeah, right? See, Derry, you just finished telling us how exhausted your life is. You want to add another channel. I mean, right. It doesn't make sense to me either, Derry. I know. I know that I have specialized knowledge in the nightlife industry that very, very few YouTube creators have. And I know that there's great interest in people that go out socially, whether they want to go to bars, whether they want to go to nightclubs, whether they want to work in one, whether they have ambitions to own one. I have very specialized knowledge in this stuff. And I also have the ability to bring in live guests on every episode. And I don't mean like, on camera guests, in another bubble. I'm talking about here in the house, because I've already talked to plenty of bartenders and bar managers and go-go dancers and DJs and promoters and barbacks and coat check people and all these people that have different roles within nightlife that want to come over and be on camera and have that kind of dual live person energy, which I think is huge, right? I mean, when you watch Tutor Rambo, right? Or you watch John's channel, and there's a few Story Tube's another great one where you've got multiple people on screen for these shows. It just adds so much. There's just a different level of energy that two people can bounce off of each other. That just talking into the camera by yourself, you just by nature, you can't do. So those are things that are on my mind. I am a lunatic, Derry, and I love you back. So yes, I'm crazy. A particular set of skills. That you get it. Let's do a poll. All right, let's do another poll. Here is a poll. I would like to know. We're going to start with this one. Let's do this one. Boom. Dragon Rider or Legendary Sorcerer? If you got to choose, would you rather be a Dragon Rider or a Legendary Mage? I will say. So, hashtag Dragon if you'd rather be the Dragon Rider. Hashtag Mage if you would rather be a Legendary Mage. Let's see what we got with this. Let's see if we have Dragon Riders in the chat. Let's see if we have Legendary Wizards in the chat. Hashtag Dragon Rider. Hashtag Dragon for Dragon Rider. Hashtag Mage for Mage. Not Source. Oh, it does say Source on here. Sorry, guys. It should be. Dang it. Hang on a minute. Let me look. Let me see what I did here. I might not have done this correctly. Give me 1 minute. Do. It is hashtag Source. I apologize. That is correct. It is hashtag Source or hashtag, it's hashtag Dragon or hashtag Source. Okay? I meant to put hashtag Mage in, but it's been a day, you guys. It's been a week. Anyway, hashtag Dragon for Dragon Rider. Hashtag Source for Legendary Mage. And we are getting a lot of Legendary Mages here. We are getting a lot of Legendary Sorcerers. Look at this. I don't disagree. I'm going to put myself in for this one too. I'm putting myself in here because, Tori, I'm sort of with you on this, heights thing. I mean, I don't know. I'll tell you what. I would like to be a Legendary Dragon Rider. However, I have seen House of the Dragon, and I have seen what overly ambitious morons on dragons get into, and look no further than me. I'd for sure be knocked out of the air. I'd for sure be killed. So I think in the thought of self-preservation, I'm going with Legendary Mage, Legendary Sorcerer. So yeah. Yeah, Derry says bonus if you ride a dragon, get to wear the awesome fur and leather outfits. That's true. That is true. How are we doing here on this? Look at this. We have approximately 3/4 of you guys that have voted are looking to be the Legendary Sorcerer, the Legendary Mage. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I've got more questions. We'll get to them shortly. Like I said, I have no idea how long we're going to go today. But yeah, this is fun. I'll leave that one up for a minute. And we'll see if we get any more Dragon Riders popping in the chat. What else can we talk about? I don't know. This is just... Oh, let's talk about this week on the channel, because I don't know if I'm going to do a video or not. I put a poll out in the community tab last, I don't know, a couple of days ago. Maybe it was Saturday or Sunday and Monday. I don't even know. It was one of those days I said I was taking the day off and ended up doing a community post anyway because I'm completely insane. Anyway, it started to look like to me that more and more booktubers that are in this. By the way, let me just say, I got to highlight this. Speaking of dragons, Disco Dragon is looking sharp once again. Thank you on behalf of Disco Dragon. We don't give him enough credit here. He really is the co-host of the show. And look who's here, Dr. Fantasy himself. Just returned from the Statue of Liberty. I spotted no dragons there. Excellent. What about what is it? What does it call for the meek? No, that's the meek shall inherit the earth. I don't remember what it says on the Statue of Liberty. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, it seems to me like a lot of the people in this kind of corner of BookTube release videos on Friday. And on Fridays, I should say. And that's been the day that I've done videos for really the better part of since the channel started. There's always been a Friday video. But I am wondering if the channel's getting a little lost in the shuffle. Because let's face it, I mean, if you are a BookTube follower, which all of you guys are, and you went and looked at all your subscriptions, all the channels that you are subscribed to, I would be shocked if there's less than 50. My guess is there's upwards of 100 on some of yours. And there's just way more BookTube content that can come out than anybody has realistically time to watch on any given day. And so just kind of like my business side of me is saying, you know, maybe it would be smarter to get a little bit more attention to put a video on Saturday rather than Friday and try to separate myself out a little bit just from the big jumble of everything else that's coming out on Fridays. I don't know. I don't want to be inconsistent and start changing dates back and forth. I like the idea of Friday. I like the idea of, you know, having people, you know, again, because we have international people here. I love the idea that, you know, Friday night they can sit down and watch a BellTube video. At the same time, I want to maximize reach and I want to try to figure out what's best for the community. You know, do I really want to inundate everybody with videos on the same day that all their other favorite booktubers in this corner of BookTube are putting videos out? So it's just kind of something that I'm thinking about. I don't know. And in terms of like this week on the channel, I don't know if I'm doing a video or not. Yeah, Tori says, I only do Fridays and I'm running behind. I haven't gotten to my Thursday video done yet. Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna do a video or not. Generally speaking, I film on Thursdays and then I edit all day Thursday and then I upload it Thursday night and it comes out Friday morning. If I'm gonna do a video this week, you guys, I don't even know what it's gonna be about. Nothing has occurred to me to make a video about right now. And I don't want to put a video out just to put a video out, if that makes sense. I would rather do no content than something that I'm just not into doing because I think it's going to emanate, you know, through the screen, right? So I don't know if I wake up inspired tomorrow morning or if I later on today think about a video that I would like to make, then I'm going to do it. I know it will not be overly edited at all. If I do anything, it could just be an off the cuff talk about something. I don't know. I do have a concept that I want to do. And I've done a couple of these videos earlier, you know, this last month or so, where I would highlight 4 books and some of them were like cinematic reads. 4 books that read like a movie. And I did one that was, you know, addictive fantasy, 4 books that just grab you from page 1 and they don't let go throughout the whole book. I really do like these kind of 4 book spotlight treatment, you know, videos because they don't run overly long, right? I like to keep videos if I can around about the 15-minute mark, just because when you start to get overly long, I don't know. I mean, it's like there's some videos that are always long that I watch because I truly do enjoy, you know, the content. But a lot of the times if I see something that's 45 minutes long or, you know, it's 38 minutes long, and I got to do it in a couple of different sittings, I'm just less likely to turn it on. So I like doing these 15-minute videos, and a 4-book spotlight with a theme makes a ton of sense to me because I don't need more than a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes to get my point across about a particular book. That said, when I do those, it does require some editing because of the format that how I've got it set up. I don't know. Maybe I'll wake up tomorrow and feel like making an edited video. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Let's go back to the chat. To record or not to record? To record or not record? That is the question. Yes. And there's still a video that I have to make that I asked Philip to send me a clip for. I swear to God, 6 months ago. He did it like immediately. He's just the best dude in the world. And I still haven't made that video yet, which I might do at Halloween, because as I contemplated, it's more of a Halloween video, but it's a good one. It's a really good idea. And Philip was perfect in it. Anyway, here we go. Tori says, one of the problems I run into as well is that some of the videos I'm most excited about take a lot more forethought and work, and I need extra energy for those too. Yeah, it does. You know, and yeah, I don't know. Melissa says, I do notice Saturday posts because my routine is different. Interesting. Okay. You need to join the 2 times life Brian. I don't know what that is. 2x life Brian. I don't know what that is. Tell me what it is. Of course I have the clip, Philip. It is Oscar worthy. It's not going anywhere. It's perfect. Philip is a great actor. I got to tell you. I asked him to do literally a 15-second clip. He delivered a 15-second clip. That's perfect. And then I got sidetracked and I didn't do the video. Let's do another poll. Let's do a poll while I got people here, right? All right, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this one. Let's do a poll about, ooh, I like this one. I like this one. Would you rather be a bounty hunter in the Star Wars universe or a Starfleet captain in Star Trek? Hashtag bounty if you'd like to be a bounty hunter. Hashtag captain if you would like to be a Starfleet captain. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see what we got coming up in chat. Look at the bounty hunters immediately off to a lead. Immediately off to a 3-1 lead. Look at that. It's so funny, right? It's really, we get all these like Ravenclaws, right? In the earlier poll, everyone's all studious and academic and this and that. And now we're getting a bunch of bounty hunters. All the repressed Hufflepuffs and all the repressed Ravenclaws want to go be bounty hunters. I love it. This is excellent. This is so funny. And you know what? People that watch this on a replay, they're going to be like, I wanted to be able to vote in the poll. So that's the other part about this. If you like doing these live streams when I'm doing them, you know, just sort of middle of the afternoon type of a thing, please let me know that too, because I want to contribute to you guys. I mean, this is what I'm doing this here for, is to, like I said, I don't have a Discord. I'm not able to communicate with the whole community like I could if we were all in, you know, Discord together. So this is our opportunity to get together. But if you like these polls and if you like doing these daytime deals, definitely let me, maybe I'll make a poll. Do you like the polls? That'd be a good poll, right? Everybody says no. Screw the polls, Brian. Just want to know about books you're reading. So what am I reading? Besides, I am reading, after I get done with Ships of Merior, I am reading Benedict Jacka's An Inheritance of Magic, which was a book that was gifted to me by Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads. Of course, Benedict Jacka is the author of Alex Ferris series. There's 2 books out in the Inheritance of Magic series. I think it might be more YA, but I don't know. So I'm going to read it. Another book that I read this month, and I'll talk about it in my recap, was actually written by one of our patrons. His name is Sean Bobby Kerr. He wrote a book called A Journey Thrice Begun, and I liked it a lot. I left a review on Goodreads, and I'm going to talk more about it when we do the monthly recap for March, but it was impressive. So, and there's some things that I told him that I think, you know, as I read it, that I'm hoping for evolution in book 2 as he continues his journey as a writer. But it's a pretty cool, you know, story. This guy was an attorney in England, and not the story, the author, Sean. I mean, he was a lawyer in England and decided, screw this, I don't want to be a lawyer anymore, and moved back to Australia. Now he's writing books, so writing fantasy books, which is pretty awesome. And him and I do a monthly call. By the way, if you're on Patreon and you're on that top tier Velvet Lounge level, we do a one-on-one call once a month. And it's so funny too, because I pitched it on there as like a 10-minute phone call. I don't think I've ever had one that's gone less than an hour. So if you want to support the channel, Patreon's a great way to do it. Merch, all that good stuff. Where are we? I have lost track. I have lost track. We have a lot of, oh my God, look at this. Look at this. See, this is what I'm talking about. No more Mr. Nice Guy, right? If I wish so much that YouTube would allow us to play copyrighted music without getting copyrighted strikes, because right now I would have Alice Cooper's No More Mr. Nice Guy playing as Philip Chase is officially voting to be a Star Wars bounty hunter before being a Starfleet captain. I would have never guessed that. I think I know Philip as well as I know anybody on BookTube. You fooled me there. So that's awesome. That is awesome. Marianne says, no way of being a captain. I'm not having that responsibility. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not true. And, you know, yeah, they want to murder people with knowledge. It's true. That is true. And I'm not, if I'm skipping your comment, it's not intentional. I'm just sort of going through different. Matt, hey, welcome. Captain, he'd like to be the Starfleet captain. I could absolutely see Matt being a very effective Starfleet captain. That would be awesome. Caleb says, never been much into Trek, so that's mainly what had me, why I chose the bounty hunter from Star Wars, but I'm also far too incompetent to be a captain. That's why you get a good first officer, right? You could just kind of chill out and get somebody else. Esme, good evening, friends, popping in for a bit. Hi. It's awesome to have you here, Esme. And where are we here? I hated being a department chairperson, so I'm thinking captain would be a bad fit. Fair enough. What would you do if, like, you know, you're on some Star Wars planet, you've committed some crime, there's a bounty on your head, and Philip Chase shows up to collect the bounty? I mean, you sort of just kind of turn yourself in, right? If he's just giving you that look, you know, it's him. He shows up in the tweed bounty, you know, bounty blazer. Tweed bounty blazer. Trademark that, Philip. Tweed bounty blazer. Love it. You'd have to go with him. Matt is reading. I'm reading of Empires and Dust, Buffalo, Hunter, and the Devils. Oh, that's awesome. Couple of arcs in that list. Very cool. Esme says, I've been meaning to read Sean's book, Journey Thrice Begun. Sounds good. Yeah, it's interesting. He's got some really creative ideas in there. And I think, to me, for me, I should say, that's the best part of the book, is he's got a lot of really cool ideas that I think as he develops as an author, they're going to interconnect, I think, a little bit more fluidly, but don't take that as that it's disjointed or disconnected. It's not. It's just there are aspects where I go, oh my God, this is really, really, really cool idea. Let's explore this a little bit more before we get to the next idea. He's an ideas guy, and I'm an ideas guy, so I like that. Yeah, Philip says Alice Cooper and him go way back. It's awesome. Where are we here? By the way, Bounty Hunter is slightly winning out over Starfleet Captain, which is pretty cool. I like that. And wait a minute. I was 7 when Star Wars came out. I cried when my parents wouldn't let me go. Core memory unlocked. Thanks. Hey, we have something very much in common here. I've told this before on the channel, but just in case anybody doesn't know, I was 7 when Star Wars came out as well. And I did go, and my parents took me, and I cried in the theater when they went to the cantina scene because the monster, I thought they were all aliens. I thought they were all monsters. They scared the hell out of me. I was 7. I didn't like it. It was just awful. So yeah, scarred from the creature cantina. Fast forward several years later, I opened up my own creature cantina. And let me tell you, it was filled with lots of creatures. Yes. Dr. Fantasy, the bounty hunter, shows up with guns blasting and quoting Beowulf in Old English. Absolutely. In the tweed bounty blazer. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I was not even a thought in my parents' mind when Star Wars came out. Yeah, I get it. You youngins, get off of my lawn, right? Should we do another poll? Let's do another poll. All right. I'm having fun with these polls. I don't know how long we're going to go today, but let's do another poll. All right. Where are we? Let's remove this one. Here's an interesting one. This is an interesting poll. I think as fantasy readers, I know where this one's going to go, but you guys may surprise me. Let's ask, would you rather be the chosen hero with constant world-ending threats or the sidekick who gets to live in peace? Hashtag hero if you want to be the hero. Hashtag sidekick if you would rather live in peace and be the sidekick. Let's see where we're at here. Let us see. Look at all these chats come in. Looks like it's an even spread so far. Or is it? No, it is not. It's just catching up. Oh my God. You guys are, wow. Keep it going. I want to see where we wind up. We literally have like a 99% poll. Oh my God, this is hilarious. Now my Ravenclaws are coming back. Now the Hufflepuffs are coming back, right? Come on, where are you Slytherins and Gryffindors out there, right? Come on, you're not sidekicks, or are you? Maybe you are. Let's go. I wouldn't mind being a sidekick too. Be a lot less stress in life. It's a sidekick, that's for dang sure. Look at this. Looks like we're going to have a lack of heroes, right? Oh my God. Okay, thank you, Philip. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Tori. There's going to be some heroes. Well, this actually might make sense because maybe the hero, you know, at least statistically here, has, it looks like statistically here we have 3 sidekicks per hero. So we got a warband, right? So we'll have a hero and then we'll have the 3 amigos, right, that just join the hero in their heroic endeavors as they go on quests. Yes, warband. Let's go. Absolutely. By the way, I've shouted this out before in my last thing. This is I'm not doing this just because Tori and I are friends, because I am authentic when it comes to book review stuff. Her newest book that's coming out, and I think it's in May, she can confirm in the chat, Cold Silver for Souls, kicks ass. Necromancer, Western, fantasy Western with a necromancer protagonist, kind of like in a Yukon Gold Rush vibes setting. It's good. It's fun. And we talked earlier about when you are mired in big, big epics and you need a book that's a lot of fun, that's, you know, very quick paced and shorter chapters and just keeps pumping along. Cold Silver for Souls, when that comes out, look at that, May 27th, boom. It's very good. And you know what I also love, and we've talked about this before on the channel, is that how John and Amy and Jacob's book is just getting such universal acclaim. I was one of the first people that read this book, and I know Esme's in the chat, she's read it, and I think Philip's read it, he's in the chat. And no kidding, I mean, it's like all of us want good things for the Mentons, right? I mean, they're like the BookTube's, you know, family, right? Mom and dad and son of BookTube, at least in this corner of BookTube. And we all want really great things for them because we legitimately know they want great things for all of us. So it's like the most amazing thing in the world to know that everybody that I know that has read their book, including myself, absolutely loves it. And I describe it as, this thing's a hit. It just is. And it's a genre blend. It's not set into one genre. There's sci-fi, there's post-apocalyptic stuff, there's cosmic horror, which you guys know by now, I'm not a horror reader, right? And let alone a cosmic horror guy. I'm just not. But the way they did it in this book, I think I'm a cosmic horror guy now. So it's funny, it's moving, it's got protagonists from all over the planet. So there's just points of views on this discovery that's been made that aren't just all uniquely American, right? They're from all over the world, and how different cultures may see something different than the typical, urban fantasy that gets set, in the United States. And then urban fantasy is one of the genres in there too. So again, I was talking about Tori's book, but equal, to my excitement there is John and Jacob and Amy's book, Discovery. It literally kicks ass. And I read it really quick. I loved it. And when you read your friends' books, you never know, right? I mean, with the exception of Philip, right? So when I read the Attn trilogy, I knew I was going to like it. I mean, there's no way dude spends that amount of time writing a book, being as scholarly as he is, using a developmental editor as qualified as he did, and put out Drek. There's no way. So that one I knew going into it was going to be really good. Other friends who've written books, I have been just so incredibly surprised, and happily so, because you know me, I want to root for everybody that I'm friends with, but I also got to be authentic to the audience too, right? Or you lose all credibility. And between what Tori's done with the Bloodstones and Phased, and what John, and now with Cold Silver for Souls, and now with John and Amy and Jacob with Discovery, this is a good time to be alive in this corner of BookTube, I have to say, because these aren't just, people writing books because they have an audience built in because they have a YouTube channel. These would be hit books regardless if they had a YouTube channel. So, and I've read enough to know, like, I know when I'm reading something, if this is good or bad. Now, it might not be for me, but I don't say it's bad. I just say this book's not for me, but it still might be good. These are good books. The one thing that I think I've figured out for myself doing BookTube is that I give myself way more credit now today about how I evaluate literature than I did starting the channel. Because I always thought that, who am I to judge? What do I know? I'm not an English major. I, didn't go to school for this. I'm a triple business major. What do I know about literature? But I've developed a huge sense of confidence that when I read something, I just better than I thought I would be at knowing whether or not I think it's quality material or not. All those guys. I've missed, oh my God, tons of chat. Hang on. Where are we here? I've missed chat. Hang on a second. Look at this, by the way. The hero sidekick is just, yeah. This is so funny. Okay, where are we here? Yes, we want life behind Thunderdome, right? I know Tina Turner. I get that. Discovery is the real deal. Yeah, Philip, he knows. And yeah, I mean, Tori's read 40% of Discovery, and it's so different than anything I read in the community before. Right. I mean, is it Tori's kind of book? I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say whose kind of book it is because there are so many different genres, but it's definitely my kind of book. May is too far away. Marianne, you're gonna love this book. I know you love Lovecraft. I know you love fast-paced stuff. I know you like mystery. Yeah, you're gonna love that book, no doubt. Where are we? Oh, maybe you were talking about Cold Silver for Souls. I don't know who you're talking about, Marianne. You're gonna love both books, like I said. Contemplative Reader says, got my Discovery pre-order. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, I don't want to just sit here, schlep John's books for him, but I will. Pre-orders are on jajminton.com. I don't even know if he's listening to this right now or not, but it doesn't matter. It helps, you guys. If you have the funds to do it, it helps, right? I mean, they've got tons of money put into this, let alone all the time and everything else. If you can support them with pre-orders, it really does matter. It'll also help probably get audiobooks made. So there's a lot of reason to do that. And again, John would do it for you. So if you have the means, go for it. If you don't, that's cool too. They would never do that. And yes, I do remember The Greatest American Hero, Derry. I remember being in my front lawn as a child, wishing I had, here's a fun fact about Brian Bell. I was born with curly blonde hair, similar to William Cott, who's the lead protagonist, is the main actor in The Greatest American Hero. If I can find some photos, and the next time I do one of these live streams, I'll throw them up here. I had super curly blonde hair as a child, and I wanted to be the greatest American hero. That's what I know. Brian likes Philip, best confirmed. I mean, Tori, sorry. Yeah, it's Philip. What am I going to do? He's got the bounty hunter blazer now. You think I'm going to let, Philip land his bounty hunter ship and come after me with his bounty hunter blazer? No. The bounty blazer? The tweed bounty blazer. God, this is going off the rails. All right. Where are we here? You're the best, Brian. The authors in this community are so lucky to have readers like you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I always assume the problem is me when I don't like a book. No, it's not. Not every book's for every person, And I've said this before. Even if you align with somebody 99 out of 100 times, you're going to have that one that you just don't see eye to eye on. And that's totally fair. So, yeah. Where are we here? I'm looking forward to it. I think he's talking about Discovery Capricious Fox because Discovery's trailer reminded me about the Sunlit Seas video game. Don't know that one. But yeah, no kidding, Esme. I get that. She's saying, I wish I could get the signed paperback of Discovery, but the shipping overseas is a joke. Yeah, it is. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Where are we here? Derry says, for most of my life, my hair was mousy brown. Going gray is the best thing ever. You know what, you guys, true confessions of Brian Bell. So 2 weeks ago, almost colored my beard back to my original hair color because I wanted to do a YouTube experiment to see if I looked way younger on camera with my, because my hair is gray, but it's also got a lot of the dark brown in it still, or some dark brown, much more than my beard. And I was going to do it, and I asked a friend of mine, and she's just awesome. She's going to come on the channel too. We're going to talk about Dune. She lives here, and she actually will come on. If I do the nightclub channel, she'll come on that too because she used to work at the club. But I sent her a text. I was like, Elena, what do you think about me dyeing my gray beard back to its original color? And she just wrote me back, no. And then I got another text bubble that said, I'm glad we had this conversation. So I am taking her advice and not doing that. But I thought it was kind of funny. I thought about it. I don't know. Where are we, you guys? We're at about an hour and a half. I don't know if anybody else has anything riveting to talk about. It seems like we've got yes, exactly. My friend does have my back, Derry. Seems like we have quite a few less people today than we did the first time that I did this. And so thank you. Heidi has one of these, I believe. So yes, great to have you here, Heidi. We're like basically kind of wrapping up. Not totally wrapping up, but sort of winding it down a little bit, I think. I don't know. Let's take that off. I'm just really glad that the audio corrected itself, or the video or the internet stream or whatever sort of fixed itself, because that was a big thing. Let's talk about For Whom the Bell Tolls for a second. So I'm not saying that it's on hiatus, because it's not. What I don't have right now are future guests lined up. The only thing that I know that I'm doing 100% is having John and Amy and Jacob come on in May when they release their book, because I want to do a celebration for them to, just for their book release. It's a big deal. And, this is my brother from the South, right? This is my sister-in-law from the South. This is my nephew from the South, right? So we got to celebrate, and we're going to do that. I don't know exactly what I'm looking for new guests yet before I start repeating guests, because I've had a lot of people ask me, when is Jimmy coming back on the stream? When is Mike coming back on the stream? When is Alan coming back on the stream? We love when you and John are on stream together. Can we do that more often? When will Tori come back on? So, and everybody else too. I'm not hand picking people, but these are the most common ones that get asked about. And my original thought is that I want to do the For Whom the Bell Tolls so we get to know deeper sides of booktubers, right? The kinds of questions that I come up with that they've not been asked a million times already. And I'm sort of at a weird crossing point right now, in that there are some smaller booktubers I want to give some space to, and I don't know that it's really going to help them all that much because they're growing quickly. That I don't think they need my help, but if it gets a spotlight on them, terrific. Tori did that for me. Mike's done that for me when I was just getting started. So it's something that I want to pay forward. There are also other larger booktubers that I don't know that I'm the right fit for. Just to be frank, there are plenty of booktubers out there that, and again, you're getting this stuff really uncensored when you watch these because not going to talk about these on normal recorded videos, and also these live videos. They get lost in the algorithm. We'll have regular viewers tune in to watch them, but they do get lost, and it's because of how YouTube treats lives. And where was I going? Oh, so there are some booktubers that have larger audiences that I think would be maybe good shows, maybe, but I'm just having a bit of a challenge where, well, when I will engage and watch a lot of their videos and comment and support, and it's not reciprocated. Now, I understand that a lot of larger booktubers there's just like I had mentioned earlier, they're subscribed to 100 channels. They don't know me from a hole in the wall. They don't know me anything, and they have thousands of comments on their videos, or hundreds of comments at least. But if you guys haven't figured this out by now, I am a fierce friend. I will go to bat for everybody that has supported me in any way possible here on the channel or in life or just wherever. So it doesn't feel great when I go to other channels and I'll comment and shout them out and do these things, and it just is not reciprocated. And in those types of situations, that kind of like feels like I don't know that I want them to come on For Whom the Bell Tolls, because why, right? I mean, for one, they might not anyway, right? They don't know me from a hole in the wall, so they may not be into it. But also, it's like, I don't know, I feel like friendship and support is kind of a two-way street. And if you are regularly out there supporting people and you've got a channel and they basically seemingly ignore you, then I don't know. I think that there's just better options. So there's kind of my dilemma with For Whom the Bell Tolls. Do I want to bring in some of the smaller booktubers? Do I want to repeat guests and make it more of a conversation than a Q&A and a deep dive? Because I can't ask Alan the exact same stuff that we did last time, right? I mean, and it was a fabulous interview with Alan. And we got to some stuff that I'm not sure he shared ever on YouTube before. And that's really happened across the board. Every time we do it For Whom the Bell Tolls, we get guests that share things they've never talked about, whether their channel is 6 months old or 6 years old or longer. They find themselves revealing things that just never come up before. And I love that. But at the same time, when you have a repeat guest, some of those kind of life questions, they're not there anymore because they answered them before. So then it becomes more of a conversation. And then is it really For Whom the Bell Tolls? Or is it just more of a chat between friends? So I'm thinking about that. And the other thing is that for me, Jared, when Jared Henderson came on, and him and I have chatted a few times in DMs, not regularly, not often, but he's been very supportive. Anytime I've ever had a question, I can send him a message and he'll answer it right away. And I've asked him, just as a YouTuber that's got, I don't know, what does he have, 300,000 subscribers, something crazy like that? What are some of his, secrets? And he has said, you just need to find your unfair advantage. You need to find what you can do at a higher level than other people in the space, or at least higher level than your other normal content. And for me, I'm very well aware that I've got lots of faults, but I also know what I'm good at. And these live streams, when it comes to an interview show, I know I'm good at it. And the challenge there is YouTube, and I kind of was alluding to this earlier, YouTube treats lives really different than pre-recorded videos. It buries them. You are not, someone has to go find you in the live tab of your YouTube page. to begin with to even find it. It doesn't show it that much to people who aren't subscribed to your channel in the first place. And even if it does, when they see a 2-hour video of someone they've never heard of before, and maybe the guest they've never heard of before, it's just going to get overlooked. It's going to get ignored. Whereas if it was, a pre-recorded video, it has a little bit of a better shot at getting more exposure. But herein lies the issue. If I do that, then we don't have any live chat interaction. And to me, that adds so much flavor to what we're doing for Whom the Bell Tolls. I don't want to give that up. At the same time, I know that YouTube's probably not going to change how they show lives, right? And Jimmy and I have discussed this before. Nobody's better, in my opinion, at doing lives than Jimmy Nuts in this corner of BookTube. And so much so that that's all he's doing now is lives. And he is essentially sacrificing channel growth to do the kinds of things that he knows he's great at. And I applaud him for that. It's incredible. I am hopeful, but not overly optimistic, that YouTube will somehow start treating live shows with the same kind of respect that they do to a pre-recorded video. Because let's be honest, they're harder to do. There's no editing. You have to be on the fly. You have to pay attention to what your guest is saying. You have to also be thinking about where this conversation is going. You have to monitor chat to see if they've got anything worthwhile to add to the conversation organically. You have to have a lot of plates spinning in your mind at the same time if you want to pull off a live show, and you've got to be engaging and fun. Because if you're just boring and you're ask a question, get an answer, ask a question, get an answer. If that's all it is, your show's going to suck. So I think the skill level is not to be diminished for people that can do really high quality live stream interviews. At the same time, they're just not treated that well within YouTube. So I don't know. That's a very long answer to a question I didn't even answer, is when is the next episode of For Whom the Bell Tolls? April. I don't know who's going to be on yet. I've got a couple of people that I'm thinking about. My guess is they're probably going to be some smaller booktubers that I just enjoy watching their channel and want to have them on for a fun conversation. I am not about bringing the biggest names on here to try to grow the channel that way. It's just not what I'm looking to do. I haven't looked at chat in so long. Let us go back and see if there's anything I need to catch up here. I don't know. Heidi says, I will watch on replay. I'm almost done with The Last King of Osterhard. I hope you read it soon. It's a masterpiece. Okay, so yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to make sure that I mentioned today. I am not starting any other big series this year. We were talking about it in the Quilluminati chat a couple of days ago. And by the way, Mike said something just right to the heart the other day, and I'm the same. Philip and John are the same too. These are ride or die guys. I mean, they just are. We have so much in common in terms of life experience, and as John and I are newer to BookTube, than Philip and Mike are, they've really welcomed us with just incredible open arms. They're absolutely ride or die guys. But like I was mentioning, Mike's Discord is starting a Dandelion Dynasty read along, and Evie, sent me all of the Dandelion Dynasty books. There's no way I'm getting to him this year. I am calling a timeout on myself to avoid burnout because I'm doing Wars of Light and Shadow and Malazan every other month. That's fair game, right? I mean, adding anything large like Tad Williams on top of that is just not going to be a recipe for success for Brian's brain. So we're not going to do it. Derry says, I think she was talking about what I was mentioning earlier. That's an easy one for me, Brian. Respond to what you want to see more of. Invite people who share the desire to see generosity and enthusiasm more often. Yeah. I mean, everybody's different, just do live chats like this at night and read every comment like a sprint, but just the chat. Yeah. So here's the deal. I want to talk about why I'm doing these in the day for a minute, because I've gone on a little bit long, but so I said this last time we did this during the daytime. I have more energy in the day than I do at night. I don't know if it's age. I don't know if it's sleeping patterns. I don't know what it is, but I also haven't had time, but when I do these live streams, to let Amazon piss me off all day long and then go do an engaging and entertaining live stream, because you're on stage, right? The camera's on, you're on stage. You have to be, at least for me, I have to be who I want to be on camera. And that is easier to do if I'm not overly frustrated with work stuff in the daytime than I am after a whole day full of it. So it's primarily because I want to be in the right mindset while I do these daytime ones. Maybe next month I'll do it at night, and we'll see. And that's an interesting idea, Heidi. Maybe I'll try that. I'll do a poll. I'll do a poll in the community tab if you guys want to see a chat like this at night. Maybe like around about the time I would normally do it For Whom the Bell Tolls. And see, you know, I know Jimmy's done things like that before too, where he'll do a chatting with nuts, except for the guest is you, right? Just a silhouette and he's talking about you. Yeah, if I'm gonna rip anybody off, let's rip off the best, right? Sorry, Jimmy, I'm being a hack. Glad you're not here to copyright strike me. Where are we here? Sorry. I love casual chats. So Brian is a late night host. Yeah, that makes sense. Kinda, yeah. I mean, that's the other thing that, again, if I have my druthers, and 10 points to Slytherin for using the word druthers today. If I had my druthers, I'd love to do BellTube after dark and literally come on here at 11 o'clock or so at night and just talk about whatever. I might even do it from the hot tub room, not in the hot tub, but there's a whole tiki bar set up in the hot tub room that I think would be an entertaining late night BellTube after dark. Just talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about. It doesn't even need to be about books. I think that would be a ton of fun. Just have to get kind of more mentally there, I think, to do it. Marianne says live chats are so fun. Cool. Dog says, from talking to other YouTubers, lives tend to kill your engagement stats. Maybe put the lives on their own channel. That's another option, you know. It's an option. It would probably, you know, get monetized pretty quickly just because, and this is for anybody who's watching. I've told this to Jake from Nerd Level Rising, but I'll tell anybody else who's thinking about starting a channel and you're not monetized yet and you're trying to get those 4,000 watch hours, do live streams. It will, boom, so much faster to accumulate those watch hours that you need, those 4,000 hours, than doing regular videos. You will wait till, honest to God, the dying earth sometimes when you're doing 15-minute videos. It could take you a year and a half longer to get monetized for those 4,000 watch hours. You start doing lives, it just a couple of months, boom, you're done. So I think that everybody, or at least most people that are subscribed to BellTube, would subscribe to a BellTube live channel and just run it that way. I don't know if it would dilute or not, but it's worth talking about. Maybe I will talk to Mike Sama about that. He would know about starting secondary channels for sure. So where are we here? Yeah, that was another thing, Doug. Thank you for reminding me of this. You can always pull short clips out of the main channel to get some content to better engagement. So one of the things that's coming up, and again, I've not had time due to a lot of family medical stuff that I've, you know, sort of been dealing with for the last 4 or 5 months, but one of the things that I am 100% doing is editing down a series of highlight videos from all the episodes of From Whom the Bell Tolls. And I want to put together a series of about 10 videos that are all about maybe 30 to 40 minutes long, that all have multiple guests, that we ask a question and some of the questions are similar, and we bop back and forth clip-wise between what everybody else's different answers were. I also want to do a best of one for the roads clip where we bring in the one for the roads that everybody has offered to us in the For Whom the Bell Tolls, and we condense it down to one video and we put that on the channel, and it's the best of the one for the roads from Whom the Bell Tolls, given to us by all the guests. That is also something that I need to do. I'm a one-man band, you guys, and like most people on BookTube, I'm doing everything, right? I'm trying to come up with the ideas and doing the editing, doing the filming, reading the books in the first place, trying to run my day business, all this stuff. So when you're the one-man band, it gets difficult to put together everything that you'd really like to do, but that is 100% happening. TBD when. Thixelbix, I think Thixelbix, sure. I'm at work, so popped in to say hi and to give you a like to support the channel. Have a great chat, everybody. Yeah, absolutely. If you like this and you want more people to see it, hit the like button. Wirtz and Erickson are definitely enough for the year. Yeah, agreed. Agreed. Chadi says this is perfect timing. Very cool. Key says, I started following booktube channels, yours, Brian, Talking Story, Triple B, and so many more because of how authentic everyone's relationship piece is really great. And I've enjoyed every, looks like there's probably second of all the content I get to watch. Thanks. I mean, that's why I did this, because I found so much value in watching other people that I was like, you know what? I want to do this too, because I think I can give people value too. And I think I'll have fun with it. Random question, best track to get people up and dancing? Oh, it depends on the age group, Derry. I mean, somebody in my age group, you know, you're not quite there, but close. I'm just, like I said, Disco Dragon and me are all about disco. So it could be any famous disco track for anybody of this age. As you get younger, you're going into hip hop. I mean, there's no way about it. And as you get kind of into the 30s-ish, 40s-ish, for me, more house music. I like it all. Footloose, no. Oh my God. See, I'll see if I ever do a bell tube after dark, I'll tell you about the times that I've yanked out power chords on DJs for me not being in the mood to hear the crap that they were playing and just yanked the power out of them. So yeah, not always Mr. Nice Guy when you own a nightclub sometimes, but yeah, Sam Sargent, live chats are always my favorite content. Very cool. Very cool. Ace of Base. Yeah, a lot of people like that too. Excellent. Cool. Well, you guys, we've been going for an hour and 45. I don't know what much more value I have for you guys today. I appreciate you guys being here. It means a lot that I can come on in the middle of the day and have some of you guys just show up and chat. And, you know, I know this is an odd time for those of you in the States that, you know, have normal day jobs, and maybe you'll watch later, or maybe you're listening at work and you're not able to do chat. That's cool too. Leave a comment, you know, if you're able to hear this, but, you know, typing in a chat wasn't an option for you, definitely leave a comment that you're able to watch. If you're checking this out on replay, let me know where you watched from. What else can I tell you? There is merchandise like this cool One for the Road shirt and One for the Road coffee mugs and all the Rick Thunder stuff in the merch store. That's in the description. The Patreon's in the description. Amazon wish list is in the description. All the different ways you can support the channel are there. But honestly, you guys just being here is the most anybody can ask for. Selling, you know, a mug here or there is terrific. Picking up some patrons is always really appreciated. But the truth is that the way the channel grows, the way that some of our goals here at the channel, you know, happen is from people watching the channel. That's number 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way through 10, is people just tuning in to the channel and watching it. So for you doing that, I want to say thank you. I like doing these lives, as you guys know. If there's people, by the way, that you'd really like me to have on from whom the bell tolls, leave a comment. Or if you don't want to leave a comment and you just want to kind of send me a DM, all my socials are on the video description, and you can check that out too. So that's what I know. A Van Thor says, cool. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Brian. Derry says, love your face. Love you back at. Love you too, Derry. Chadia, have a lovely day. Marianne, great to see you too. I just want to say thanks to everybody for doing this and for joining me today. Disco Dragon says thanks. Maybe the next time we do this, maybe we'll have some sound effects from Disco Dragon. Maybe there'll be a voice modulator that's intentional instead of what we got at the beginning of the stream when Mr. Roboto was in the house. I'm not even going to watch it. I'm just going to get too aggravated. All right, you guys, super awesome that you're all here. I'm losing steam. I'll call it a day. Look for a video, maybe Friday, maybe Saturday. If you don't see a video out of me this week, you can rest assured there will be one the following week for sure. But you guys know me, I'm a workaholic. There's like next to no chance there's not going to be a video this week. I'm so crazy. All right, I'm done. See you guys. Have a great day, everybody, or a great evening wherever you are and whenever you are watching it. Don't forget to like the video. Thanks, guys. Bye.